Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Sanch, welcome back to the Bodybuilding News Network. Like I said, I'm your host, Josh Sanch, and welcome back to another installment of Bodybuilding Daily, where we talk about all things hot topic and trending in the world of bodybuilding. I'm going to get right into this video because it could be a long one. We have the Flex Weekend Pro, aka the Italy Pro, happening this weekend, September 9th? 8th, 9th, and 10th is the weekend, this coming weekend. And we do have quite an impressive lineup already on the scorecard, something around 16 competitors. What I'm very interested to see is the addition of several competitors that are not on the scorecard that you will most definitely see in the first call out. So let's go ahead and go through this lineup real quick. We have first off from Kuwait, the Khalid Al Kazim. We have heard him before. We've seen him compete before. A new name for me, Ali Jalil Nasser Al Zarqini from Iraq. That could be an issue if he were to have qualified. You know, people that are traveling from Iraq, who knows, Russia, China, usually have some travel visa issues. So keep that in mind for competitors like for Ali here. Blessing Awodibu, one of our favorites, muscle tech athlete now, used to be red kind of athlete. He's going to be in that conversation for, maybe a top 3 finish here. Let's see, Giovanni Aspetia from Italy. Simone Bassanelli from Italy, Andrea Bolzani from Italy. We have Maik Ciesla from Germany, Roman Fritz, already qualified for the Olympia from Germany. He said he's going to do a couple shows. He's going to do this one, the European Championships, in just another week or so. And then maybe even the Legion Sports Festival, who knows? Theo Laguerre from France. We just talked about him in yesterday's video. Check it out. Mikhail Mazov from Russia, another one of those visa questions. Artem Pakinik from Russia. Dennis Heinhold from Germany. Bruno Oliveira Santos from Brazil. Thomas Tabassier. Now, this guy he has phenomenal conditioning. We saw him last year at the, I think it was the Prague. He did that show, and he looked phenomenal. Great conditioning. Jan Turek from Czechoslovakia. He just did a show. Which one did he do? He did the Yamamoto Cup last year. He did a couple shows already. He brings phenomenal conditioning, good structure. Still needs to put some more size on, though, but very impressive. Liang Yan, we just talked about. He's phenomenal. He could be in the conversation for a top 6 from China. And Gu Xing Yan, or Jiang, Y-U-A-N, Jiang, right, from China. Those are some of the competitors that I think they're already confirmed for the show. People we are missing, we're going to talk about them in just a second. Tim Budishim, we'll talk about him at the end of the video. Regan Grimes, Nathan Diasha. We have Andrea Muzi, not Presti. Presti's already qualified. Andrea Muzi, and there might even be another one. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But let's go ahead and jump into this one. Let's go ahead and start off with Regan Grimes. And what I'm wondering for you guys is Regan Grimes the favorite to win this show? Because when I think about it, I think about the amount of size he's been able to put on after skipping last year's Olympia, taking all this time to improve. I think at this most recent front lat spread, he was talking about in the comments him putting on like some crazy amount of stage weight, something like over 10 pounds in a year, which is, phenomenal for somebody at the peak of their career, which, Regan is still relatively young, but he is slowly creeping up towards, getting closer to that 40-year mark. I think he's just coming around the 30-year mark. So he's quite impressive. I think he's going to be my pick to win the show, depending on if he brings a little bit more conditioning than what we're seeing right now. Again, I don't think we've ever had a conversation where we've said, oh, Regan's not big enough. I think the conversation has always been, oh, he played the size game. It's hilarious. Brandon Curry's in the comment sections, a guy that, plays the size game at the Olympia and loses. So the size game does not work typically if you don't have the conditioning to back it up. So I would be very hesitant to see Regan Grimes continue to push the envelope with the size without the conditioning. That is my worry here. Next up, the person probably going to be pushing him the most is Nathan Asha. I do not want to underestimate Nathan Asha because historically, he always comes in shape. He always comes in quite impressive. That's why they call him the prophecy, because he comes into these shows and he always wins. And the last time we saw him 2 years ago before the double bicep tear, both biceps, snap, was he won 3 different pro shows in the same year, which is outstanding. Not very many people have done that. I think Angel Calderon did it recently, but I don't think anyone else has done it. So, at least in the last decade. So that has to mean something. But my question is, and please let me know down below, when we look at Nathan Asha in these most muscular, front lat spread picture, and then he does kind of like an ab and thigh shot, ab and one thigh, do you think he looks a little bit smaller than he used to? Because that's kind of been my worry, is I feel like he hasn't progressed really at all from the last time we saw him. I think he looks exactly the same, which I guess is good. If you had two bicep tears and you look the same, I feel like that's a win. But in this current climate of bodybuilding, you really got to be impressive, and you have to continually push the envelope and become better and better, but still have great amount of conditioning. That's where I'm thinking that Nathan Asha is slipping, is he's not keeping up with the Joneses with this young crop of athletes coming into the show. So that is my concern. Next up, let's talk about Andrea Musi. We haven't talked about him or seen him in just a little bit. And this guy, I actually really like Andrea Musi. He's probably one of my favorite European structures. It's just he seems to always miss the conditioning by just a little bit, as well as he's not as impressive from the back as he is from the front. And I hate saying it, but that's just how it's been these last few years. Do I want to see him do very well here? Absolutely. I think he's very impressive. But again, I think he's just a little bit shallow from the back, and that's what's going to hurt him at this show. And then last but certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping in, watching the show. Please consider subscribing if you have not already. It definitely helps the channel grow. Why didn't you guys tell me my hair is all jacked up? Man, what kind of fans you guys are. My hair looking all nasty like that. Anyways, the last person, Tim Budishim, looking great, looking phenomenal. We will actually talk about Blessing Awodibu real quick at the end. But Tim Budishim, another one of these guys, really impressive. And he's going to bring, I would say, him and Blessing. Who else from the lineup? Jan Turek and Roman Fritz and even Thomas Tubasiar. I think all of those guys are going to be conditioning guys. They're going to bring a lot of conditioning, but what I think is going to set Tim Budishim apart from everyone else we just mentioned is he has the muscle to go with the conditioning. He has a very complete package, a very impressive package. And I think that's going to, like I said, I think it's going to push him just ahead of the other guys. And it could be, I don't know what you guys are thinking. Let's pull a Blessing real quick. I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm thinking he's a top 6 guy. I think Tim Budishim could be a top 6 guy if he continues to bring the level of conditioning he's showing currently, and then also maintaining just the right amount of muscle. That's my thought. Now, last but certainly not least, Blessing Awodibu, or as Mark's Max Muscle likes to say, Awodibu, has shared more physique updates just under a week out from the Italy Pro, aka the Flex Weekend Pro? Yeah, Flex Weekend Pro. I hate that name. I like what I'm seeing from Blessing. Again, it's going to come down to the legs. This guy can hop into whatever show he wants, and if he can snag a second tier show or a show with not a very deep lineup, I think that's a huge win for him. But the legs from the back are going to stop him in his tracks for the rest of his career if he doesn't make the improvements. He needs to put on the size. He needs to take it serious, take an off season, a full off season, maybe back off on the content creation and the drama and the social media stuff. I don't know. I'm not a bodybuilder like these guys. I do it for fun. But like I'm saying, I don't think he's going to make any improvements in placings or get in the conversation of being a serious threat at the Olympia if he's not bringing up the legs, especially from the back. The glutes look really small, the legs look really small, and the back is just phenomenal. He has a Mr. Olympia level back. It's just the lower body is just not there, and he needs to address it in the coming seasons. So that's my thought on everyone so far in this Flex Weekend Pro lineup. If you want me to talk in depth about any of the other competitors on the lineup, comment down below which ones you want to be talked about, and I'll feature them in the next episode. I'm your host, Josh Sanch, here on the Bodybuilding News Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Come to your